Connor, Sorinex.
Yeah.
This caught my eye.
Yeah.
I was watching it on Instagram. Tell me a little bit about what this new product is.
Yeah, so this is actually the Sorinex Back Attack that was created over 15 years ago by Pops and Bert and another strength coach, and it's been redesigned, remanufactured, improved upon. So same structural integrity, works a lot better now. We've redesigned it, so made the footprint a little bit smaller, a little bit more effective. We got the basically full back pad and very quick, easy adjustments for the whole thing. Amazing posterior chain hip extension tool. So if you want, I can hop on and show you guys. So what's really cool about it is we can adjust it for all different heights. So basically you can increase this, you lower the pad, so you can work with an athlete that's 5'5" to, we have athletes over 6'6" using this machine. This can adjust back and forth. Weights obviously on either side. You're gonna get the same feel whether you have one plate on, 2 plates on. So the felt load is gonna be equivalent across. Some of the safety features, obviously plate storage, you can add other attachments to it due to the through 4-way hole design. So you
what
can
kind
add
of things would you add
any
to
of
that?
our attachments. So some of the other products, the Anchor products we've added to it. Anything that we do, utility pins can be put into the rack for storage or if you want to utilize them. But if you want, I'll show you, we can hop in. This pad here, it's gonna allow you to get in, it's gonna go across the shoulder, so you're gonna be able to do an exercise like a good morning, but in a safe manner, so you don't have to worry about a barbell or unloading. So right now it's locked and loaded, you're gonna stand up. This is a catch pin, which is a safety, which can be adjusted on either side. Handles come in, you're gonna perform a good morning. So posterior hip extension, up, lock it in, back down. What's cool about the safety features, if we needed to, say I need to fail a rep, it still allows the athlete or individual to get out of that. It's also a dead stop function, so you can work from the bottom all the way up and back in. What's also very cool, you can do other movements, so it allows you to load, unilaterally. So we can go here, single leg movement, staggered stance, so we can work one leg more than the other and hop out. So pad can be adjusted based on height. That's pretty good right now for you. We want to kind of cross the top of the shoulders. Hip pad feels all right. You probably could come in a touch if you wanted to.
Come in.
So hop back out, sorry. Just want to make sure that the quads are up nice and tight to the pad. So let's try that. Yeah. So you're gonna load, so stand up, pull those handles in. Good, and now you're ready to perform. Drive the hips back. Good. Big squeeze up top, yep.
That's a nice stretch. I've got extremely tight hamstrings.
Yeah.
This feels very nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
This has been around for a long time. There might be some that imitated it. However, for this, it's extremely safe for the individual athletes, and then you're done.
Let's give that other one a try. So you put this split like a stance like this,
like a stagger stance, the front quad.
And do you hold on to this or?
No, that's a safety.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And just make sure you drive those suckers all the way
out.
Other way.
I like that. And then if you fail...
So say you were to fail, go all the way down. It still allows the athlete to be able to get out of it if you needed to, right? Drive those out.
I like it.
Yeah, it's great, again, for hip extension, posterior chain.
I also imagine it's quite nice before you're doing anything, maybe a lightweight. Let's just try it without
the
45.
Weight. Yep. So you can use it for maximal load, or again, if you wanted to warm up, just use it as...
Yeah, it's quite nice to, as a bit of a warm-up, I think. I would probably use it just to, that stretch is really nice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Why did they bring it back out then?
Our original one, this is, I believe, is Gen 3, had an arm here, but we didn't have a secondary arm. So it almost was like a leg extension. The pad came across. We changed the pad design out. It was also a bigger base, so it was a bigger footprint. So again, we're trying to maximize the space of these facilities, whether it's on the tactical side or professional collegiate side. So being able to fit more machines into a space, you get more athletes into it. But again, as far as the footprint, it's smaller, but then obviously the integrity of safety, super important. Quick, nice. Easier to use. You have a backup, so if you can't do it, you have the ability to add another one here as well for heavier loads. And just kind of continue to innovate in what we do. That pad is much more stable. You don't have to worry about the arm moving at all. So you have 2 structural arms, and then this pad is obviously a little flatter. The original one was a round pad.
Nice. Connor, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're?
Mike Jolly. I'm the owner, inventor of Iron Neck.
Iron Neck. My brother's a fan. Tell me about the product.
Well, I love the fact that your brother hooks a dumbbell or a kettlebell onto this thing and swings it around his head. But we used to have a competition where we put a 2-pound fish weight on a little cable, and how many times in a minute could you spin that thing around? No one could beat me. So I practiced. But this is Iron Neck. When I invented this back in 2012, it was about preventing concussions. I played football at UCLA. I lost guys I played with and played against in college football to CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. And it was how do we prevent CTE? Well, you prevent concussions. Well, then it came down to how do you prevent a concussion? And there were some studies being done back then by some groups of doctors. And they proved that for every 1 pound of neck strength you add to your neck, you have a 5% less likely chance of being concussed. Now that's pretty powerful. Yeah. We can go into a high school team. These kids have never trained their neck. We can put 30 pounds of neck strength on their neck. I mean, they're basically concussion proof, right? I mean, you can't concussion proof anyone, but some of the high schools will have 25 concussions the year before. After we're there all summer training, 5 the whole year. And this is Texas football. Some of the elite high school players. So we've had a lot of success with strengthening neck, preventing concussions. And that's why I started the company. But one of the benefits of having a strong neck is it takes away all your pain. At this show back in 2017, the United States Air Force approached me and they said, hey, look, we got pilots. Their necks are jacked up. They're F-16 pilots. They're pulling 4Gs at takeoff. And I said, hey, let us help out, right? So we went over to Luke Air Force Base, and I worked with the pilots over there. They experienced amazing benefits from a pain standpoint. They're not getting concussed, but the pain went away. And they actually ended up doing 2 different studies, the United States Air Force, proving the efficacy of the Iron Neck. They had one with a fighter squadron coming out of England into Saudi Arabia, and they'd rotate. For a year and a half, they had it, and they had their guys trained. Now this is on flight decks, on aircraft carriers, flight decks in the Air Force, just for the pilots to warm up. Put it on your head for 1 minute and just warm up so you're ready for takeoff. But they found some great results in just getting rid of the pain. So that led us into getting rid of things like Tex neck and Tech neck. Yeah, everyone's bent over like this all day long.
I tell that to my kids now.
Yeah, right? It gets all stretched out, right? So you're here, your performers, your neck erectors get all stretched out. You got to get it back, and you got to,
Have you done anything in terms of the difference it makes, like for people who are sitting there looking at screens, in terms of kind of blood flow, oxygen to the brain, and how that helps your sort of, your mental
I've done that on me.
Okay.
So I have another company. I'm also a health tool developer. And I'm in my office. I have Iron Neck in my office. Everyone can come in and use it. Usually around 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, people come in and use the Iron Neck. Why? Because it's better than a cup of coffee. It is. It gets blood flow. It just gets you going. You're just like, okay, let's go. Let's get going. Even girls, they don't even care if they mess their hair up anymore. They just want to put it on. They want to get that little workout so that they're thinking more clearly. But it definitely, increases blood flow.
So is there a quick demo?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. So let me show you the Iron Neck though, just so you understand the different components. So this is the truck. The truck runs around the outside track. There is a disc braking system that clicks into place, so this gets harder and harder to rotate, to move. So when you have it on, you have rotational resistance. This gets hooked to a bungee cord or to a weight stack adjustable cable, and it gives you the horizontal resistance. Super dynamic, and then you have two forms of resistance. Adjustable vertical strap, you want to set it on your head at the right height. I've got a big head, so I'm about right there. This is a back pad. This blows up. So this pump right here blows up the back pad and smushes your forehead into the nice soft pad in the front. These pads come in 3 different sizes. I can't use this big pad. I need to put the thin pad in for the demonstration. So this pumps the air, that dumps the air. So that's basically it. And it only weighs 2 pounds. Pretty lightweight.
Let's give it a go.
All injection molded.
Introducing the next big thing in functional training, the Escape Barrow, a revolutionary training tool that combines a loaded farmer's carry with a sled push to develop hip, grip, and core strength. Developed in partnership with Pete Holman, inventor of the TRX Rip Trainer and Nautilus Glute Drive, the Escape Barrow can be rolled, pushed, dragged, and carried. The Escape Barrow packs a punch with an impressive load capacity of 440 pounds, and with a 2-stage galvanized paint covering process, it's also ideal for outdoor use. So head over to escapefitness.com/barrow. That's escapefitness.com/barrow to find out more. Enjoy the rest of this episode.
How long did it take you to develop this then? There's a lot of work. Although it looks fairly simple, I can tell there's a lot of work that's gone into it.
The truth? 3 days.
3 days. Well, and what about to kind of
Now, this is
get it
iteration
working?
number 7 or 8.
Okay.
So that was 2012.
Right.
All right. When I talked to the doctors and found out we needed to strengthen the neck, the objective was how do we strengthen it the best way?
Right.
And all the muscles in the neck are diagonal direction. They all rotate the head. They tip it laterally. They do all that. And if you can't work it out in that way, you're not strengthening it correctly, right? You're not getting full contractions. If you're doing this or this, you're just like doing a third of a bicep curl. You're not getting that full contraction because you're not reaching the end of the range of motion. Just go ahead and you put it on like this. Pull it down over your head like that. And then I'm gonna let you do this, and I'm gonna take you through some exercises. You're gonna sweat.
Okay.
And if you're bald, it's gonna slide around. You need a skull cap.
All right.
And if you have long hair, you need a skull cap. There's very few people that don't have to have a skull cap. So go ahead and throw that skull cap on. Pull it right down to your brow. And when you put this on, you're gonna put it on your forehead first, and you're gonna pull it down over the back.
All right.
Okay? All right, so that's a little small for you. So let's go with medium pad. Okay, let me move this to about right there. All right, forehead first, pull it down. Go ahead and grab it and you pull it down. You work it on there.
Yeah.
Chin up, Matt, chin up. Okay, a little low. That's where I want it, right there, okay? That's pretty good. Now go ahead and give that some air. Pump that up. Other side. Up here in the front, this way, right there. Not too hard. I mean, you can always add.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
Now, you want to make sure that this is parallel to the ground, the bungee cord all the time.
Okay.
So go ahead and back up. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to just keep everything straight. Shoulders, blades are going to be retracted, and you're just going to look left, and you're going to look right. And you're going to work on full range of motion, not moving the body at all. Chin all the way to the shoulder, all the way over there, and all the way back. There you go. Pick the pace up a little bit. Chin down just a hair. That is good. Now go ahead and turn and face this way, a whole quarter turn with your body. Keep going, look left, look right. Now you're gonna feel the sternocleidomastoid on this side, really working hard. Scoot it out just a bit, there you go, there you go. Good, that's good work, good form. A little less body movement, all neck. So we're working on neck strength, we're working on neck flexibility, and we're working on neck range of motion. All three of those combined really help prevent concussions. You want to, the reason that the neck works, face out this way, face that way, whole body, toes, everything. There you go, keep going. Now you're gonna be weakest in this position. Go ahead, look left, look right. The reason that we need all three of those, and it's a pretty dynamic way to prevent a concussion, is that this is your shock absorber. If you can stop the head from snapping and reaching the end of its range of motion through neck strength, then we prevent the concussion. Good. A little less body. Keep going. A little faster now. Pick it up. Your neck's warming up. Full range of motion. Really fight for that. Excellent. Quarter turn, face this way. Good. Keep going. Good. Right like that. Keep going. There you go. Love it. Excellent. Great. That is good work. Okay. Let's try this one. So picture Stevie Wonder sitting at the keyboard, right? So you're going to draw a long, skinny 8 in the air with your nose. Yeah, roll it up and around, roll it. Yeah, there you go. Good. Just like that. Nice. And you have a little body motion, and I don't mind it on this one. That's good. Trying to get your head in. Yeah, great stretch, right? Trying to get your head and neck in every position it can be on a football field, on a wrestling mat, in an MMA ring. So when it takes a blow, it's strong in that position. Go ahead and adjust that, pull that back down. When it comes back up, just pull it back down. You might want to dump the air real quickly. And yeah, now pull it back on. There you go, pump it back up. Okay, let's try Stevie Wonder facing straight out now. Good, good. Excellent, I like it. Long looping 8. Good, now. Don't stop. Keep going in this direction. When you're ready, I want you to stop and do the reverse. That's the same way. That's the same way. No, it takes practice. It takes practice, but that's kind of crazy. It's hard. There you go. There you go. Good. Good. Excellent. Nice job, Matt. Nice job. Okay, let's try one more while we're here. Now we're going to do a lock neck body turn. Okay. So one of the things I like to do with a kettlebell, not hang it from the truck. So I like to hold it, and then we're doing a lock neck body turn. So my nose is going to follow the kettlebell or my hands, and I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to rotate it at the waist. Don't take all the movement out of your legs. I want all trunk rotation. Chin up a little bit. There you go. Squat a little more. Perfect. Now a little faster. Full range of motion. Full range of motion. There you go. Good. Excellent. Perfect. Okay. It's a good workout for the first time. Not bad. Dump the air. There you go. Now you're going to keep that. You can wear that all day.
Okay, thanks. I need one of these.
So what do you think? How does that feel?
I'm just feeling that now. It's quite, well, one thing is quite nice because you feel upright, you know, you kind of are in the right position.
Right. It feels like you grew a little bit. It's like you have perfect posture.
Yeah, I think I can imagine it's quite a nice, I don't do sports, that kind of contact sports, but I should imagine it's quite a nice thing just to do maybe in the morning, as you said, in the afternoon, just to kind of get your posture right.
Sure. Well, even non-contact sports. I mean, think about someone who rides a bicycle all the time. Their head's hanging over in this position, right? Or someone who's texting a lot or at the desk a lot, just to get, things strengthened.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice product. Well, look, if I can help get the message out to any more people, I will do. Lovely to meet you. Great product. Thank you very much for sharing it. David.
Yes.
This has impressed me. Tell us a little bit about what this bar is and where the original idea came from.
I will. So this is Tsunami Bar. It's a flexible barbell, okay? And the idea came from my coaching background was college strength coach, 20 years. We use a lot of West Side principles, Louis Simmons, dynamic effort, chains and bands, the dynamic effort. So we were trying to find ways to do variations in our dynamic effort. So that's how the Tsunami Bar was born in Clemson University in a football weight room. And so an engineer, Gordon Brown, came to me with an idea, and we put our heads together, my coaching side and his engineering expertise on composites, and the Tsunami Bar was born.
Right. So there's a place that if you to understand the concept, then you've got these bars that are kind of almost like starter bars to understand the concept. So do you want to explain about that product first?
So we also have Tsunami Starter Bar, if you want to hold it, or I can hold it. It's basically the same idea. It's kind of a primer stick is what we like to call them. We call them battle sticks. So this can be something to help, fire your central nervous system to get it going. You're through the fascia, through the skin, through the muscular, trying to get all those sensory receptors firing, okay? And getting some good blood volume before you lift. So it's basically a dynamic to the dynamic, right? So it's a little dynamic primer to the dynamic lift, all right? So we're working off an oscillation, which is the movement. You can feel the pressure of the anterior posterior chain working in symmetry with each other, okay? So this will give you an idea. What I like about this bar and this bar, it's the same thing, just a smaller form, is that you get pressure, you know, east and west, but when you're doing it this way, you got north and south, but you also get a circular motion. So there's some other products that just go up and down. This will actually go east and west, north and south, you know, different directions. Right. So it'll mimic your movement. It gives you resistance in any movement that you want to apply to it.
So what's this on the end?
It's just a weight.
Okay.
It's just a weight on the end. So it's something you can take off. And if you want to change the deflection of the bar, you can slide it down or slide it up. And what it does, it actually makes the bar stiffer. So what you're doing is you're shortening the pressure on the fiberglass that's inside the bar. And so now, see how quicker it is? It's a lot quicker now. So it's fast, a little quicker twitch. And so you basically can go back, you have more lag with the weight.
Oh, okay.
With the weight up high, you have more lag. So it's a real quick fix. You have more lag, see the lag in it now?
Yeah.
And then you slide it back down and you get a quicker response. Just drop it down, you're putting different pressure on the fiberglass inside. And so now, quicker, right? Quicker, and so you can make it stiffer. So as you get stronger, you ain't gotta buy another bar, you just move the weight down.
Right. And what is this made of?
This is made of it's basically a rubberish plastic combination, specially formulated just for this bar we have made, all right? And then inside there's fiberglass.
Right.
So there's fiberglass inside that rotates on an axis. What makes it work.
Right.
Real simple.
So then you progress onto this bar then?
Right,
So
this is the same thing, it's just at another level. So anything you can do with a standard barbell, you can bench, you can squat, you can clean, you can deadlift, you can jump with it, you can walk with it over your head, and it'll give you oscillations. And so what it's doing essentially, from a dynamic effort standpoint, you're using a sub-maximal weight to give you a maximal result, a maximal force.
So let me try a quick squat on that.
The bench is the easiest to kind of get started with.
Okay.
But the squat is the one I really like the most.
Okay. So the one you showed me earlier
You want to do the Zurcher squat?
Zurcher squat, okay.
So the Zurcher squat.
So just hold it here, yeah?
Just hold it in the cuff of your elbows.
Okay.
Let the bar kind of drag on you a little bit. And then as you squat, allow your elbows to go right inside your kneecaps. It'll open up that hip girdle. So now the pressure is in the frontal plane, but you're also holding it, supporting it with the posterior chain. All right, as you move, you're getting good hip activation, good glute activation. You're getting lower erector activation, transverse abdominal, even adductor around the hip. Good knee bend, good athletic
as well, like
good athletic movement. You know, it's a natural squat.
Yeah.
So you start powerlifting, you know, you're worried about doing a hip hinge squat. This is a more natural upright position.
Yeah, it feels nice on the hips, particularly if you're stiff like I am.
Well, if you can go quick with this, or you can actually load the bar up, and it'll give you even more drag on the bar.
Right.
And you'll have a less likelihood of the bar coming up out of it as well.
You can really kind of explode as well.
You feel that oscillation too as you come out.
Yeah,
and so your hips are also, you almost have that perturbation of your hips, and you got to stay in the groove as you come out of your athletic position.
Yeah. Yeah, you feel as though there's a lot of different things going on when you're doing that.
It's pulling you, so you got to stay in that groove.
Yeah.
You got to stay in that plane.
Yeah.
You really got to fight against that. So you
Yeah,
get
I
anterior,
like
posterior,
squats, but
locking together.
I just, it takes me a lot longer to warm up to be able to do the back squats now. That's very nice, even though it's a relatively lightweight. So do you see people doing lighter training with this, or combining it with sort of heavy days or anything like that?
So both.
Okay.
So my idea at first, this whole process was to make this as my dynamic effort movement. In my max effort movements, I was going to use a steel barbell. However, we have evolved and we've made the bar, this is the most flexible bar. So just like you had the small sticks, we now have a force bar and a max bar that has firmer fiberglass to the side that gives you a different response.
Right.
So as you move. So I believe, and some people are going to hate me when I say this, I believe that we can actually replace the steel barbell, even though I grew up with a steel barbell, and I still love the steel barbell. But I believe we can replace it and give you the same or even better resistance at maximal effort with less likelihood of getting hurt.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, and that's important. If you're an athlete, you know, it's important to get strong there. It's important to stay strong.
Yeah.
Because if you're injured, you're no good to your team.
I speak to so many athletes in their kind of 40s, 50s, and 60s that all say, I did too much heavy stuff when I was younger, and they all suffer a lot. I suppose when you're younger, you don't necessarily think about what's going to happen when you're older, but it's certainly something I wish, you know, someone had told me about this sort of stuff earlier.
Well, the way the bar lays on you, instead of putting the force in a direct spot, your body actually shares the force in different spots of your body.
Okay.
So it just makes it safer all around, and it actually allows for more muscle activation as you're working through.
Yeah, I can feel that. With such a lightweight, it feels like it's one of those things I'd like to get one of those.
Yeah.
And what so if you're doing deadlift, would you use that same bar, or would you use
I would
more
probably use a stiffer bar, this max bar. You can feel it on a deadlift if you'd like. Pull it out. You'll see the difference. And so this is a 45-pound plate. It's still going to flex for you, but guys that like to do maximal lifts use this bar.
And when we did the bench press, you said you generally hold it in quite narrow.
I do. So the tighter the grip, the more oscillation. The wider you get your hands, the less deflection oscillation you're going to get.
Right.
It's just physics is all it is.
So what, on a deadlift then, where would you
So deadlift, I would just go hands right outside just like you would on normal deadlift.
Like here?
Yeah. If you want to have less flex, get your hands a little wider on it.
Okay.
And you'll have less flex on the bar. So now it's a 15-pound bar, and now you have 45s on each side. So you're actually, you're at roughly 105 pounds.
And are you generally doing faster movements with?
Not so much with the max bar. You can. So you can actually do the same movement here with this bar. You just have to be a strong enough and fast enough athlete to move it at the same level that you would move this bar.
And the other thing is, obviously, it's a lot thicker than the regular bar. So you've got
the idea behind that. Now we do have a standard grip that we have, the same deal. And so when we're working with the Chinese, they were actually asking us to make a smaller grip because their hands were smaller. And so it felt better in their hand. So we do have a smaller bar there. I just didn't bring it with me. The reason we chose a bigger tube, because when I and Gordon Brown were developing the bar, I told Gordon, the engineer, I said, hey, I'm working with football players, Division I football players. I want their grip strength to be strong. I said, can we make a 2-inch bar? So that's kind of how it all came about.
And what's this here then?
That's just a wear pad to make it look like a barbell. Okay. So when it's sitting in your J cup, it doesn't scuff up your bar. It has no other use other than not scuffing up your bar.
Why the length? Why is it the length?
Is to give you the deflection. Now, let's move the weight in. You can feel it. It'll feel more like a standard barbell. So if you move the weight in.
And are you meant to sort of change the position of the?
Right now, you feel it now. It's going to feel more standard.
Yeah.
It's really. Yeah. So all you're doing again, it's an engineered product that you're using by applying, speed, force, and physics to get the mass of the bar, the actual force of the bar. And that collar looks like this. So what we do to keep the weight from falling off is we put in a little pin in the end.
Oh, okay.
And so when the weight slides, it won't knock it off.
Right. And do you play around with the position of the plates then on it at all?
I do. And we also, so if I want to load it up, I can put another collar on here that doesn't have a pin, and we can move it to change the deflection of the force.
Nice.
In the bar.
Well, David, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So if you'll walk over here, we're going to run a diagnostic scan and show range of motion in his shoulder. So he's got a little bit of a wonky shoulder. So we're going to show range of motion before. We're going to treat with a laser. We're going to see how he feels subjectively. He's going to tell me what his pain is before and after, and he's going to see what his range of motion looks like, but then we're going to test it again after and show an actual number. So subjective and objective data.
All right, so cool. So you're going to stand right here, just like this. That's great. And then I'm going to show you, you're going to be on here on the screen.
Release button to begin scanning.
Yeah, well, that'll be better. I'm not planning on changing anytime soon.
Drop your head forward. Okay. As far as you can go. Okay, great. Backwards, all the way back.
I've been doing neck training, so I should be good at this.
I got the wrong device. Yeah, I'm going the wrong device in my hand. Sorry about that.
All right.
All right, we're gonna have to do it.
So we're going to treat his shoulder, David.
Okay,
If we want to measure something on his shoulder too.
that's fine. This will actually show regardless.
Yep.
Okay.
Release button. Begin scanning.
When I do lateral flexion, it'll measure your shoulder. That's good.
Wow, that's awesome.
All right, so I'm going to do lateral
Release
flexion now.
button.
So we'll go here.
Release button. Begin scanning.
So his shoulder will be affected by this.
Sure is.
All right, good.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Right there.
All right.
All right. So on your right shoulder, pain from 0, no pain at all, 10, I need some morphine. Where are you at? Just sitting there without moving.
Probably about, I was saying hit without moving, like sort of maybe a 3,
Okay. What makes it go above a 3? What range of motion?
just above head, anything above
So when
the
you
head.
do that, what does that take it to? 0 out of 10.
Probably like a 7.
And where is that 7? Put your finger right on it.
It's kind of inside, probably a little bit at the back.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start treating, then I'll kind of explain to you what I'm doing.
Okay.
Put on those glasses for me. So we're going to go in 2.5-minute increments, then we're going to retest.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep going in 2.5-minute increments until I get you to a 0 or 1.
Okay.
Or until I've exhausted 10 minutes on that area. That would be what we call a full dose for a day.
Right.
My guess is I won't have to take 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay? And then I'm going to kind of explain what I'm doing as we start treating. This is going to feel warm, kind of like sunshine on your skin. If it gets hot or uncomfortable, let me know.
Right. So what's she doing? What's actually going on then?
Yeah, so let me kind of explain it to you. If I had a big syringe and I had morphine, tramadol, Toradol in it, right? Never do that, by the way. And I injected your shoulder and your pain went to 0, that's a chemical response. So what I've got is 4 wavelengths of light in this laser. Think of those as 4 different medicines because that's exactly what they are. Every color or every wavelength of light is a different medicine. When I put that wave of light into your body, you have molecules called chromophores that accept a wavelength of light and transfer that into a chemical response in the tissue. So I am generating with 4 different wavelengths, different chemical responses in the tissue. Different kinds of tissue accept different kinds of light or different wavelengths of light. So I want to hit skin, bone, ligament, tendon, muscle, blood, lymph. I want to hit as many chromophores as I can, so the more wavelengths I use with the more power, the better response I get.
Okay.
So what I'm doing, if you were to think of that morphine, tramadol, Toradol, I'm actually doing the same thing with light. I'm putting light waves in. The first thing we're doing is we're inhibiting the nerve. So we're turning the nerve off. We're shutting off the pain signal to the brain. So I can usually get people's pain down to a 0 pretty quickly. What that does is when the nerve turns off, that tells the muscle tissue to relax, that it doesn't need to have trigger points to protect anymore, turns the muscle off, so range of motion comes back and muscle pain goes away. So a frozen shoulder would be a great example. You have an inflamed nerve that tells the muscle tissue in the shoulder, lock this shoulder down so this person cannot move their shoulder and damage the shoulder. If I turn the nerve off, the muscle tissue relaxes and a frozen shoulder goes to full range of motion in 10 minutes. So it boggles people's mind how well that works.
So question, like one of the things, I was chatting to someone yesterday, a massage therapist, and he was talking about how maybe a shoulder pain could be something that's
Absolutely.
affected somewhere else. So how does that connect if you're treating this?
This'll tell me.
Okay.
Because what happens is you feel pain right here. When I get that shut down all the way 0 or 1, patients will often tell me, okay, now it hurts in my trap.
Right.
But now it hurts in my neck. Now, so like if I knew your shoulder pain was coming from a disc injury in your neck, I wouldn't treat your shoulder pain. I'd just go straight to your cervical spine and start there because that's the site of the nerve root. I'd shut down your shoulder pain from the nerve root. Since this is a shoulder injury, I start on the shoulder and I work my way back. Okay,
Right,
so that's 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Is it make that movement? Tell me if it's the same, better, or worse.
It's definitely like a couple. It's
So same, better, or worse?
it's better. Yeah.
And put a number on it. What were we at
It's
when
more
we started?
like a 5 or a 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 2.5 minutes went from an 8 to a 5 or 6.
Yeah.
We're not at a 0 1. We go again.
Okay.
And is it in the same spot, or has it moved?
It does seem to be moving up a little bit.
Moving up.
Yeah.
Pretty normal for shoulders because you got tendons coming out in every direction.
Right.
Knee, I treat a knee, it doesn't move. It's there, it goes to zero. It doesn't say, oh, now it moved up to my thigh. Shoulders, it can go here, it can go here, it can go back right there under the shoulder. It moves all over. But that's pretty normal for shoulders. So we're gonna hit on that same spot and maybe move up a little bit on your trap.
How old is this technology then? This
First medical laser was created in 1960s. A guy named Andre Mester, and it's just advanced since then.
Right.
This company started he started 30 years ago with a company called Diawave. He started Aspen about 10 years ago. He's just gotten more and more advanced in how we treat, what wavelengths we use, what power, how do we bypass the heat and get a deeper response chemically, because heat is the enemy right here. Most lower powered lasers, this is an extremely high powered class 4, most lower powered lasers couldn't even put it on your skin like this.
Right.
They'd burn you because they don't understand how to bypass the heat and get deep tissue treatment without heating the skin. So
how much does one of these kind of lasers cost then?
This one right here is our top of the line. It's $48,000. This is 4 wavelengths. Most lasers are 1 or 2 wavelengths. Some are now approaching 3 wavelengths. We've got 4. Most lasers are going to be about anywhere from 1 watt to 20 watts. This is 47 watts.
And what kind of training would you need to be able to use one of these? Do you do special training
I
courses?
do a 1-day training for the practitioner and his staff. I take about 8 hours to train them.
Right.
Most laser companies will have preset protocols. So everybody that treats this injury for you, they won't even, they'll just say, press the preset protocol for a shoulder injury. Right. You can't treat people that way because your trapezius muscle is thicker than a 90-pound grandma's. So if I use a preset protocol, that means you're both getting the same setting, but you need different doses. I teach it, we teach it, where we set it on the setting we think for that target, and then treat in 2.5-minute increments. And the patient's body tells us when we get the right dose because your pain goes to a 0 to 1. We shut you down. So if it takes 5 minutes, it takes 5 minutes, we're done. If it takes 10 minutes, it takes 10 minutes.
What type of facility, what type of practitioners would you sell these to? Like,
so chiropractors, physical therapists, orthopedic surgeons, pain management, wound care, and brain trauma, neurology. Every single medical practice, dentists, veterinary medicine. There's nothing I can't treat with this laser except the eyeball. It'll burn through the retina. Every other tissue I can treat. And then with the body, the whole body, I can treat in that full body bed because instead of using 4 diodes of laser, I'm treating 45,000 diodes of LED. So I'm treating every single cell in the body. This, I'm just treating your shoulder. All right, do the same movement, same, better, or worse, put a number on it.
yeah, that's kind of the same as the other side, actually.
So put a number on the pain where we were at an 8 before.
It's a touchdown at the bottom, but that might be because it's sort of in a different...
It's radiating. If you could feel all the pain associated with your shoulder injury, you would pass out.
Right.
So your brain hides referral pain.
Okay.
The reason you now feel in a different place, it means I got this taken care of, and your brain is now telling you, take care of me down here.
Okay.
So
right.
now you have a little down here.
Yeah, interesting.
And we
how
can hit it down
moves.
there if you want.
But do a quick bit down there, and then that's interesting how it moves.
Yeah.
And how many sessions do you have to typically do of this?
So before we really evaluate, we do 6 sessions over 2 weeks for almost every patient. Acute or chronic, doesn't matter. So if it's an acute patient, I'm gonna see them every other day this week for 3 days, every other day next week, 6 sessions. Chronic, I'm gonna go 3 days in a row, week 1, bam, 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 get out in front of it, and then every other day, week 2, and then reevaluate. Probably 90% of my acute stuff is done in 6 sessions. In fact, they'll come in for the 4th, 5th, and 6th sessions and go, yeah, I don't think I need it today, I'm pain-free, and I have full range of motion. So then I change my settings and we go to a very brief stimulatory, because now we're not trying to inhibit, we're trying to stimulate healing. And with red and near-infrared light, we stimulate repair about 50% faster than the body heals on its own. So it's not just for pain. If somebody has a rotator cuff tear, I'll say, don't have surgery. Let me take care of it, we'll get it healed, right? As long as there's no structural impediment, the tissue will heal with light. So if you broke a bone, it would take your body about 40 days to calcify that. I can do it in about 20, right?
What's your colleague doing?
He's doing a thermal scan on you.
That unit behind there, is that, you said that's more performance-based, so you're getting people that improving?
It's health and wellness, really serious issues, systemic full body conditions. You name the worst conditions you can think of in the world, we treat people in that.
Right.
But it's also performance. That's why I have so many professional teams. Performance enhancing enough where it triggers some red flags, because they can't gain that much strength that fast normally without doing something they're not supposed to do. And they do it, and it's almost legal blood doping. It's really amazing for performance.
That's pretty cool.
All right, now, you know what you feel subjectively, right?
Yeah.
So let's get an objective answer, though.
Come on in.
Okay, straight ahead.
Release button. Begin scanning.
Get forward. Backwards. Okay, so now we're going to do the side.
Release button. Release button. Begin scanning.
Okay, great, we're done. Let me put them side by side.
Release button.
Up. Put them right on top of each other. Okay, and then just put them
Side-by-side picture's my favorite.
in. It'll show it in a second. But I would
Yeah, and then you can stack them too. So there's different ways to show it to the patient. Pretty cool.
use the original one. Okay, so this was the first one, and this was the second. This is the second one.
42%.
Yep, and then let's go to the next one then. So this is showing.
That's the second one.
Yeah.
No, that's
This is the first one.
This is the first one.
Oh, okay.
This is the
You're-
second.
this is where you were low.
72 and 60.
Okay, I got
You
more
went
on
from
the back.
42 to 72.
Oh, wow,
Yes.
forward. I wonder why it was less on the way back.
Right. Now the other part is that.
And what's that? That was the first
Yep.
56 and 59.
Yep. You open this up all the way. And you can see.
Don't make me get this whole package. I'll be too happy.
So you can see the difference. I didn't store the lateral flexion for some reason, but I can do the lateral flexion again if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. No, yeah, that's good. But
You can see the change that occurred here was from 42
Yeah,
to
yeah.
72.
that's probably
And-
why it's tight. Like,
And here's the thing. We didn't treat your neck.
no,
We just treated your shoulder.
right.
Had I treated your neck, it probably was going to go better, right? It depends where the injury is, right? Like I said,
Yeah.
if it's a shoulder injury, I'm going to treat your shoulder. Sometimes if I exhaust my 10 minutes, like if I did 7.5 minutes on you. If I had done 10 minutes and you go, I'm still at a 3, then I'm not actually done. I'm done with 10 minutes here,
Right.
but I can go 5 more
Figure out
minutes on the
where it
nerve
is.
root
Yeah, right, okay.
and calm it down from there.
Now, the other thing you were doing too was you didn't realize it, but when you were doing lateral flexions, you were going just like this.
Okay, right.
And you didn't notice it, but I did.
Okay.
And I was using a single. Normally I would use 2, and that would show, it would expose the lifting
Yeah.
when I used 2 of them at the same
Interesting.
time. So, yeah, it was really interesting.
Thank you, sir.
Ah, my pleasure,
All
man.
right, so Terry from the Netherlands,
Actually from Canada, but
from
yeah.
Canada. Okay, so tell us a bit about this interesting product that caught our
It's
eye.
a Topspin 360. It's a method of dynamic multi-planar neuromuscular neck training for injury prevention, concussion, and neck injury screening and rehabilitation.
Okay.
So it looks absolutely absurd, and it works. So the athlete pops it on, and then we've got our smartphone app here. It's all perfectly self-generated, so it's also self-limiting. Pop that on. Personal space generator as well. There. And then go in the other direction. There we go. And then that gives a direct measurement of my multiplanar dynamic neck strength in pounds of force per second. So RFD, rate of force development.
Okay. And what does that mean? Then?
So basically, the higher that score,
Yeah.
the lower it turned out to be an incredibly accurate proxy for someone's baseline concussion or neck injury risk.
Wow.
Yeah.
And does it work for regular non-athletes as well? Is
Yeah,
there any
absolutely,
benefits?
especially for like people who have chronic neck pain, chronic post-concussion syndrome, headaches.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I give it a go?
Sure. Yeah. It is harder than it looks.
I bet. We tried the other. Is this kind of a similar
So iron neck would be more, would be like traditional neck strengthening, taking a heavy weight and pushing your head against
Okay.
it. So it'll improve your neck's ability to take a heavy weight, push against it.
Right.
Iron neck will also improve your neck girth a lot more than we will.
Okay.
But this is a lot more neuromuscular training.
Okay.
So it enhances proprioception, neuromuscular control, coordination, and balance, along with neck strength. We've got evidence that each time you put this on and train on it, like 3 sets of 20, the average improvement in static composite neck strength is over 1%. So quite a dramatic improvement in neck strength.
Okay, so how do I just
Yeah, and I can, there you go, yeah, there.
okay.
All right, so I'll start it. Yep, you got, and now, so try going the other way, try going the other direction.
Okay.
There you go, yep.
What's the secret? Is it like small?
Smooth, yeah. So a lot like a kind of a tight hula hoop. Good? Okay, now go the other direction.
Have I got it moved?
Yeah, almost, yeah, 3 more, 4 more.
Okay.
Done. Perfect.
What's my score
All
like?
right. So 2.3, actually even same both ways.
Okay.
2.35 pounds of force per second.
Is that any good?
No. Full disclosure, eh?
Okay.
So you would be deemed very high concussion risk.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So by doing this, how often would I get better?
You would even, like if you were to try it tomorrow, you'd probably improve from that because a
1%.
lot of it is just neuromuscular control, learning coordination, learning how to do it. So
Right.
there's a very steep learning curve.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, basically on average, after 7 weeks of training, 2 minutes twice a week, you're looking at getting up to about 22 pounds of force on average.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Teo.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you've got any value from it whatsoever, then please do us a favor, like, subscribe, tell somebody, and that will help us to be able to continue to do more of these and help you escape your own personal limits. Thanks for listening.